Hi, welcome to the AFC Dad, Adoption Foster Care Dad. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk to you about considering foster care and what's your end game. So, when you're thinking about becoming a foster or adoptive parent, there's a lot of things that you need to take into consideration, and there are 10 things in specific that I think are very important for you to take time to think about, to discuss with your spouse, your significant other, or anyone else that's going to be close with you on the journey. One of those is trying to figure out exactly what your end game is. When we were deciding whether to foster or adopt, or to do both, or what we were trying to figure out, we had a lot of questions about what that might look like. And we knew that adoption would be an expensive route, that it would involve a lot of time and a lot of money, um, could involve international travel. We knew that those things were out there, but we also knew that we were called to bring kids into our home while we had love and space and room in our house. And so for us, we had to decide um, which route did we want to go. And there's many, many routes within foster care or adoption, and we'll talk about those in other videos. But there's some people that say that if you want to adopt, you shouldn't foster. I don't necessarily agree with that. I do think that if you are thinking about becoming a foster parent, if you're intending to adopt, if you are intending to just be a foster parent, that you have to have a very basic understanding that foster care is temporary. By nature, it's temporary. You are going to be asked to support a goal of reunification, and you do that through shared parenting, you do that through coaching, you do that through working with the social workers to facilitate visits, to help bring the parents up to speed on what's going on in the child's life, with that goal of putting the children back with their biological parents, which I believe is always the best family unit, except when it's not. And there's a lot of reasons why it's not: abuse, neglect, dependency. There's a lot of good reasons in there why it's not. And so for us, our decision to become foster parents was with the mindset that whatever children come into our home, and for however long that they're here, we're going to love on them. We're going to love on them. We're going to care for them. We're going to support them in their path, in their journey, in their process. We are going to work with the parents on reunification. And if they are reunified, that is great. And that means that they are back home where they should be, that the parents have done everything asked of them to bring their children home. But if not, and that's a big if, because a lot of children don't reunify. And so our thinking was, yes, we're going to support that reunification process to the fullest. We're going to support the shared parenting. But if that if that doesn't happen, if that's not able to happen, then that child isn't disrupted again. There's not another placement. They're not having to change. There's no more, not another layer of trauma for them having to move to a new family and a new place. They can stay here with us and we will be their forever home. But it's with that thinking that reunification is always the goal. So whenever we get a new placement in our home, we always try to think just weeks in advance of what can we do for this child over the next few weeks. We try to get a good understanding of what's going on with the case plan with the social worker. We really pay attention and we participate in the court process and the legal process. We make sure that we advocate for all the therapies that the child can get, so that when and if reunification occurs, they're set up in the best possible place they can be. And we love on them as our own for as long as they're here, and we grieve and we are sad when they leave. So that's a little bit about in game. I guess if there's anything else I would say is that if you're not willing to roll up your sleeves and get in the trenches and do the work of reunification and do the work of shared parenting and do it for real and not just putting on a front, foster care is not going to be for you. You should look at adoption, and there's all kinds of ways to do that. There are plenty of children that are looking for permanent forever families who are already legally free for adoption. There's international adoption. There's different ways to go about that. But foster care is going to be for those who really want to pull up their sleeves, get in the trenches, and work with children that are in crisis, that have had some terrible things happen to them, and work with families that have been disrupted. And it's gonna get a little messy, but it's rewarding, and it's super super rewarding. So more on considering foster care down on the blog. If you want to visit afcdad.com, appreciate it. You can also follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter as well. Links are below. And thank you for your time.